Hey guys, welcome to the Half Hour of Horror with me, Aaron McLean, and my co-host as usual. Oh, hey, it's Chase. What's going on, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. I hope you are, Aaron. I love your shirts.
It's the reason for the season, baby.
It
We are
is.
breaking into Halloween. It's the first week in October, and I'm already excited because Halloween's my favorite month. Holiday that takes a whole month. I mean, we're just getting into holiday season, and I love the whole string out. We get Halloween, Thanksgiving. I'm going to eat so much. Christmas. It's just a good couple of months back to back to back, and Halloween especially is so much fun because obviously I love horror, and we get to spend it with you guys. And yeah, today we just wanted to like talk about kicking off the season and like what kind of stuff we like to watch to get us in the mood for Halloween. Cause like I know you do it, I do it too. I watch as many horror movies as possible.
Yeah, and it's something I do, like me and my partner do every month for the entire month of October, all 31 days. We each pick a horror movie to watch. We take turns each night, obviously. Then the last night, Halloween, we kind of do a mutual agreement. But yeah, the entire 31 days, we pick something to watch. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, it's been a tradition for years. So what is like your go-to that really gets you in the spooky season mood? Halloween 3, which
Got to.
I have right here. Great one.
It is not fall until I see Tom Atkins' ass. I'm just saying. I don't feel like I'm in the mood until I hear the Silver Shamrock advertising for the big giveaway tonight. It's time. 8 more
where would
days
you,
till Halloween. I'm ready for it.
where where would you like to sleep, Dr. Chalice?
That's a dumb question.
Yeah, this one is one that is a must watch in our household. Literally every year, one of us, either me or my partner, we choose Halloween 3, which funny thing, I've been preaching this film's greatness since I first saw it, since I was a teenager. My partner, it's funny, hated this movie for the longest time. And every year I would ask, hey, you want to watch Halloween 3 with me? No, it doesn't have Michael in it. So finally, like 5 years ago, I sat him down, like, look, don't think of it as a Halloween movie or, Halloween as in the franchise. I was like, think of it as its own weird sci-fi horror film. Now he loves the movie. And we watch it every year together. It's so good. Now, when were you first introduced into this one?
Sometime in college, to be honest, because I was like, well, I'm going to watch all the movies. So, I was going through all the franchises and I watched Halloween 1 and I was like, okay, cool, 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 cool. Halloween 2. And you're like, all right, more of the same, super fun. And then you get to Halloween 3 and nobody told me. Nobody prepared me for how weird it was. And at first I didn't like it, but years later we started watching it as a group with friends, and it's like this is just the most fun. Like robots, witches, warlocks. None of it makes any sense, but I'm just so on board with how it just threw everything at you. Stonehenge magic, yes please.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's one of those I was probably introduced when I was like 16 or 17, thanks to what's currently airing right now on AMC, the channel, not the theater. AMC Fear Fest. They play it
Fear
every
Fest,
year.
yeah.
So that's how I got introduced to it. Then I finally watched the unedited for television version. I was at Walmart, and Walmart every year does the end cap aisle of DVDs and Blu-rays. Back then it was just DVDs. I'm old. And I got a double set of Halloween 2 and Halloween 3. And that's how I got to watch the unedited version. And yeah, I adore this film. I have the 3 Silver Shamrock masks sitting up on a shelf on the opposite side of the horror room. Yeah, this is one of my favorites. Probably my second favorite Halloween movie behind the original. But yeah, it's one of those. I've ran into so many people who are like, yeah, I didn't like Halloween 3 because they think of it as Michael Myers is the Halloween franchise. I'm like, yeah, but just watch it as its own thing, as its own weird sci-fi horror movie. And it's got horror sexiest man. So
You can't judge it in the same world. Yes, we love us some Tom Atkins. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch my headphones. I'm going to try to pipe in through my phone because the internet's crazy crappy right now. Thanks. Where am I? What hotel am I in right now? Thanks, Marriott. I'm going to grab my earbuds. So while we're doing that, you throw out the next movie that you dive into, and I'm going to come back and try and figure out what you were talking about.
absolutely. So I'm going to throw a curveball at you guys. Who's ready for some Sam action? And I'm not talking about the Sam you're thinking of, the Trick or Treat Sam. I'm talking about Sammi Curr from Trick or Treat 1986. Love this movie. Wait, let's wait for Aaron. I'm going to go wait for Aaron's response. Ooh, double. Oh, all right, guys. Aaron will be right back.
I'm here.
And he's back. So I just brought up, I thought it would be a good time to talk about Sam, but not the Sam you're thinking of. I'm going to throw you a little curveball. 1986's Trick or Treat, Sammi Curr.
This movie, I just saw this like recently. It's like within the past 5 years recently, not that recent.
Same,
but like,
same.
like, I mean, we will be talking about Baghead Sam here shortly, but like, this is such a bonkers movie, but it's like so Halloweeny. It's so fun.
Yeah,
what turned you on to this movie? How'd you get this one?
I have been hearing about this movie. It's kind of been like for the longest time, kind of like a horror fanatics urban legend. Because for the longest time, it wasn't on streaming. It wasn't available on DVD or Blu-ray to buy. The only way you could find it was like through a secondhand markets, and it was like a super expensive DVD copy of it that doesn't even have the original artwork. It's just a picture of course, it has small appearances from of rock legends Ozzy Osbourne and Gene Simmons.
Right,
and
right. This
the
is the
front
Gene
cover.
Simmons one,
So
yeah.
the only DVD you could find, it just said Trick or Treat, and it just had a big picture of Ozzy Osbourne and Gene Simmons on the cover.
It's a crazy movie. It's like a rock and roll horror film. It's got, I mean, it hits all the marks that you want from this. It's super low budge, really cheesy, kind of sleazy. Like, it's fun. And like you said, it was hard to find. That's probably why I didn't watch it for so long. But it is really pretty great.
So the only way I watched this for the first time, probably about within the last 5 years, and then it was because I found a very poor quality rip on YouTube. And fun also, when I mentioned Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne, yes, they are in the movie, but they're both combined only in it for 3 minutes. And it's funny because like a lot of the promotional material you'll see will have them on it just to use their name value. But yeah, they're only in the movie for 3 minutes combined, both their screen times combined. But yeah, it's a lot of fun about a teenage boy who was a fan of a heavy metal singer named Sammi Curr who died in an accident. The spirit of Sammi Curr comes to him and takes out his bullies, but in turn latches onto him and starts cursing his life and messing up his life. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like you said, it's sleazy, it's cheesy, it's low budge, but it's fun. It has a banger soundtrack.
Yeah, 80s rock and roll, heavy riffs. Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I'm glad that finally it has been released because last year or 2 years ago, it was released on streaming through Screenbox. Mm-hmm. And Synapse Films and Red Shirt Home Video just released this year a Blu-ray copy of it, which I pre-ordered and got the day it came out, and I can now finally say I have this on my shelf, and I'm so happy to finally have this.
That's awesome. That really was like a VHS classic. Like I remember seeing like the video in the marsh the grocery store video rental section, which was always like where you'd get the really like pretty bad selection, but that's where Trick or Treat would be.
Yeah. It's one of those, like I said, I had heard about this movie for years. And just because of its limited availability, it kind of became kind of like a myth, like that movie I had been searching to find. And then I finally found a very bad rip on YouTube of it. And now I can finally have it high quality. And I'm just so happy it's finally on my shelf.
That's awesome. It's good to find it. Yeah, that's awesome. We're like I said, we're definitely going to talk about Trick or Treat with the other Sam in a few minutes. Let's not back to back. Let's not front load our Trick or Treats. I want to bring up the Sleepy Hollow, the classic Sleepy Hollow from 1999. 1999, as we've said, is just like a banger year for movies. Just an incredible year for movies. What do you got? What are you grabbing? Yeah.
Let me see if I have it in here.
So this is a Tim Burton classic. Obviously, Tim Burton, Johnny Depp. All the usual suspects that are in the Tim Burton movies, and Christopher Walken is the Headless Horseman. Christina Ricci. It's great. This one blew my mind because I hadn't seen like a movie this violent before. Like when I saw this movie, I wasn't quite down the full path of like horror. And so to see this movie, when you get like a guy getting impaled, all these beheadings, it's pretty violent. Even for Tim Burton, it's pretty violent. And I was blown away by the gore, by the blood red spurts of blood, chopping off kids' heads. And I was just obsessed. This badass Headless Horseman movie. It's so stylistic, so cool. I was obsessed. This is one of the first movies I ever bought.
Yeah, very Tim Burton-esque, but a lot gorier. I have the VHS copy of it. I thought I had it down here in the den. I think it's in my partner's man cave. I just texted him to go grab it real quick, so hopefully he can find it.
Bring me the VHS of Sleepy Hollow.
I hear him coming.
Thanks, Logan.
Thank you. All right. So yes, VHS copy of Sleepy Hollow.
Oh yes. That's amazing that you have that.
Found this at a thrift store 2 summers ago for like 50 cents. So yeah, this was one I saw probably when I was a teenager. But yeah, a lot of fun, very cheesy. Very Tim Burton, but a lot more graphic than your standard Tim Burton film. Again, it has beheadings, blood. It's awesome. This is a lot of fun. I'm actually now going to have to upgrade this to either 4K or Blu-ray, but
it was one of the first DVDs that I bought. I bought a stack. I went to Best Buy and it was like this, The Matrix, like Gladiator, and Saving Private Ryan, and I was like, yeah, I'm set. I love this movie, and it feels very fall to me. It has a lot of like great Tim Burton-y, Halloween-y stuff going on. It's one of my all-time favorites for this time of year.
Yeah, and I think this is definitely another like must-watch. I would say, how would you say this? I would say it's one of those. It's good to show to someone, probably a teenager. Probably just getting into horror. Like, again, it is violent. It is gory. It does have beheadings, but it's not like over the top, like extreme violence. It's enough to where I think like a 14, 15-year-old can handle.
100%. It's also not mean. All the horror stuff is done in the sense of a ghost story, or a monster movie. It's not like, it's not like a slasher where it's punishing people. It's got a mystery. It's actually a really pretty complicated movie for what it is. And I don't know, I'm just really into it. And it blew me away when I saw it because I thought it was just really smartly done. And the effects were killer. The way they were doing the beheadings. They're actually dummies with magnets in their heads, so that when he comes up and hits it, they pop the magnet and they turn the magnet off, and the head can fall or spin or whatever they needed to do. And I was like, that's so cool.
Movie magic.
Right? All right, what's
Yeah, I
another one
love
that
it.
you throw on?
Well, you said the violence isn't mean in that one. Unfortunately, the next one I'm bringing up, the violence is very mean.
Oh
Two
yes.
fi-
What do you got?
two films: Terrifier 2016, Terrifier 2.
Oh my gosh, these movies are adult dose. I at first wasn't as into these movies, but by the time the second one came out, I kind of Art the Clown's behind you. Um, by the time the second one came around, I kind of came around to it because as long as you're not trying to tell me it's anything but a clown that cuts people up, then I'm fine with it. I think a lot of people are like, oh, they're so good or whatever, and it's like they're not good, but it delivers on its promise. I'm a killer clown. I'm going to cut people up, and it delivers. So, there's that level of like what makes something good, what makes it's not standing toe to toe with one battle after another, but at the same time, it's like
Right.
it is having fun. It is delivering on the gore factor, and Art the Clown is a great horror character. He's terrifying, and that actor is crushing it. So
Yeah, David Howard Thornton is phenomenal. Of
yeah,
course, as we mentioned, he wasn't the first. We mentioned on the show before, he's not the first Art the Clown. That was actually played by a man named Michael Gianelli, I think, who had done All Hallows Eve and played Art in Damien Leone's short films that he directed featuring Art the Clown.
okay.
I know there's a lot of people, especially the first one, that have an issue, especially the saw scene, which
Yeah,
I completely understand where they're coming from because it is a very graphic and disturbing scene, and there's a lot of people who do have issues with the way that's handled, and especially being a female kid, and I completely understand that. But and like I also like it's one of those things too where I kind of have to look at it through the concept of I know what Damien Leone's trying to do, where he's trying to make a modern day exploitation film.
yeah.
And exploitation films from the late 70s and 80s
Sleazy.
had violence that made people very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I felt very grotesque and exploitative. And yeah, it's one of those like I do like that's where I think it's handled a little bit better, somewhat in Terrifier 2, which to me I like enjoy Terrifier, the original one, but it's not the best movie. Like I'll come out and say it, it's not the best movie. It's just an hour and a half of an Art the Clown display, like of
yeah.
displaying what he of the character. To me, you get a little bit more of a story with Terrifier 2.
The main character is great. Yeah, your
Yes,
characters
Sienna.
are interesting. Yeah, Sienna's great. Her little brother, he's fun. That movie's part two is way too long, but I give it so much
Yeah.
credit for being like, you know what? I'm going to fill this time with everything you want to see.
Yeah. And there are a lot of pacing and editing issues, and part 2 I feel like it could have been trimmed down maybe 20-30 minutes.
Yeah,
But overall still a good film, and I think, which I'm not going to bring up the third one because that one's set around Christmas time, which we'll probably around Christmas time talking about that one. But that one I feel like a lot of the criticisms of like Terrifier 2 being too long, they could have edited down some scenes. There were some pacing issues. I feel like Terrifier 3 handled all those issues and where it's a lot better.
I
And
can't
that's
believe
where
they're
I'm gonna
getting
give the
better,
credit.
right?
Right,
Like
right.
it's hard to believe that the movie about a clown that cuts people up manages to get better with every sequel, as opposed to a lot of movies in a franchise kind of like waver back and forth, or the first one strong, Candyman, and go straight downhill from there. Like the 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 fact that the franchise is getting better at making movies, but also getting more interesting as it goes along. Here's another thing I'll give it props for. In an era where we're so desensitized by your standard slasher kills, I don't remember a movie that literally made me nervous because it was so off the rails with how violent it could get. You're like, I
Right.
don't know what's about to happen. What are you about to show me? And then later in that same movie, in part 3,
actually make me cringe and be like, oh God, oh, whoa, with the
Here's
rats.
the there's a scene, and it's in the beginning of Terrifier 3 when me and my partner, so we saw it in theaters together opening night. And the beginning scene, I'm not going to spoil it for those who haven't seen it, but the very first kill, and I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Everyone who's watching right now, you know what I'm talking about. That first scene, you don't expect that person to get killed because, of course, the age, but you hear the whack of the axe. They don't show it, but you just hear the whack of the axe. Everyone in the theater gasped. And then I saw it 2 nights later, went by myself, went to like a 9:00 show of Terrifier 3, just to see it again. 2 nights later, same thing, went to a different theater. That scene happened. You hear the whack of the axe. Everyone in the theater gasped. So they know how to get you.
It takes a lot in our nihilistic society that has seen it all to actually make you go and freak you out. And so credit due where credit's due. And like I said, I think they've really worked on making them solid. And yeah, they are. You know, it used to be Saw was the Halloween, like something comes out every year, and Saw was coming out with them. And I think I hope they don't turn art into an every year pump it out sort of thing because that will dilute it. But I am glad that they're not done with the franchise yet.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think Damien Leone's kind of said, I don't know, recently, someone in the comments could probably tell me if I'm right or wrong, who keeps up more with the news and whatnot, but I know he pretty much said Terrifier 4 will be the last one for a while, if not the last one, which I think is appropriate because you don't, like you said, you don't want to dilute it. Because I mean, look what happened to all these different horror franchises, like Jason in the 80s. He got diluted. Now it's funny, all these years later, people are now craving like a new Jason film. Same with Freddy.
Didn't they just announce a potential in talks casting that you were a little excited about for Jason Voorhees?
Yeah. So as everyone knows here, I'm a huge professional wrestling fan. Right now they're in talks with former WWE wrestler Braun Strowman. And if you don't know who Braun Strowman is, Google him after the show. That's a big motherfucker.
Big.
6'8", legitimately 6'8", 350 pounds of solid muscle, and he is fast for a man his size. That he has potential to be the scariest Jason or the most intimidating Jason in history, just due to his size and speed and strength alone.
I'm excited about that. You showed me some pictures and I looked him up and I was like, that could work just from the scope and scale. It'll be interesting to see what they do when they come back, right? I'm not sure. It's been such a long time. How do you bring that franchise back online? A lot's riding on it. I don't think there's anybody who could pull it off after this long and make everybody happy. It's going to be somewhere in the middle, but like, let's just rip the Band-Aid off, see what we get out there. I'm excited.
Or they could pull a Saw X and just come back and make everybody happy straight out the gate. Because look what happened with Saw. Like, I know they had did like a couple, like they had did, which I consider Jigsaw kind of like a soft reboot of the franchise. Mm-hmm. That didn't go anywhere. They tried to do like a spin-off-ish film with Spiral. That didn't really make any waves. And then they came back like return to form. We're going to make a John Kramer-centered story after all these years. And it's the only Saw film that's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
Isn't that crazy?
And a lot of people consider it to be among the best, if not the best Saw film ever made. And, it's one of those, it was gone for a while. Now they brought it back. And then, we know all the production delays with what was supposed to have been Saw 11. Now people are craving a Saw 11. Who would have thought that years ago when people were getting sick of them, releasing them every year?
I think absence makes the heart grow fonder. Isn't that what they say?
Exactly. That's exactly what they say.
The next one I'm going to throw up is just a bona fide classic. I know you and I both love this movie. 2011, The Cabin in the Woods. This is one that this makes the season for me. Like it is so. It's Halloween. It's a haunted house. It's everything I love about horror movies. Just it is a love letter to the franchise and to the genre. And I'm just it's awesome. So this one is just this is comfort food when I throw that one on.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's got a little something for everybody. I love this film. I have the DVD sitting on my shelf. I need to upgrade it soon. I think Lionsgate Limited just released a new copy of it, which I might end up getting. It's like you said, it's comfort food. It's got something for every horror fan that they can enjoy. It's got some slashers in it, got some creature features, got demons, got witches, vampires. It's haunted house, creepy cabin in the woods. It's literally everything. Weird government conspiracy. You name it, it's got it.
I love the moment in the basement and just like looking at all the stuff and then like what that hints at later with all the creatures that we see. I mean, the unicorn, the merman, like there's so many great things in this movie. And I wish we could get a sequel. I don't know what you would do. I think it'd be fun to see like another time that they almost failed and we get to see a different location, a different country could be interesting. But they did it all. So it's like it'd be really hard to pull off a sequel that isn't just a rehash. And
right.
Maybe that's all I need. I don't know, but I love the world that they created and I want more of that.
Yeah. Again, like it's been almost 15 years since it came out. So
yeah,
like you said, it I think at this point it would be kind of a little too late. I think they should have really struck the iron while it was still hot. Probably maybe waited 2 to 4 years. But again, I would love to see something else. Like you said, even if they do a Final Destination film where it just follows a different group of people in a different area, just just a situation. I'd watch it.
I think it'd be fun to see them tackle different genre. Like they hinted at, like, oh no, Japan beat their monster, and it was all the schoolgirls with the ghost. Like seeing something like that could be really interesting and funny, and a cool way to delve into this world more. The different countries, the different genres of subgenres of horror, but yeah, Cabin in the Woods is just one of my all-time favorites as far as like what I got to pop on in October.
Yeah. And it's one of those I've noticed each year. It's kind of growing in popularity. I know in theaters it kind of did what it did when it came. What year did it come out?
2011.
2011. It kind of did what it did. I think it was somewhat successful, but I know just over time it's just gotten more popular and more people talk about how much they love it. And I love seeing stuff like that. And again, it just kind of shows that, things, how where things will gain a cult following over time and just people will find it. And each year it's just more people are finding it. And I'm loving that.
Oh, so good. Yeah. What's next on your list? What do you got?
I'm going to throw you a curveball. Another one. Something I think our audience isn't going to expect from me. Monster House.
The animated movie?
The animated movie. I love this movie.
Fun.
It's fun. You got voices of Steve Buscemi. It's a lot of fun. I love this one.
that is funny because I mean when we've talked about like gateway horror in the past, the Ghostbusters, the Addams Family. Monster House is a good one because it's a haunted house movie aimed at a younger audience, but I don't think it shies away from like trying to be a little bit scary. I mean, it's insinuating that the house eats people, right?
Yeah, of course it's it's of course about a house that eats people, and it's caretaker voiced by Steve Buscemi gets hurt and is in the hospital, and the monster house gets to kind of roam free as it pleases. And I think this is a lot of fun, has its silly moments, and like you said, not some pretty good scares. It's not all bubble gum and cotton candy. It has, some darker themes to it, which darker for a kid's movie, but yeah.
Right.
Overall, this is pretty fun. If you haven't seen this, I really like this one a lot.
How do you feel about same sort of genre of like Scooby-Doo, fun kids, horror movies. Paranorman. How'd you feel about that one?
I didn't see Paranorman, but I think those kind of films, like the kind of kids like Scooby-Doo, Paranorman, Nightmare Before Christmas, stuff like that, I think they have their place for sure. Again, it's one of those, like, I think people in our generation would all agree, you know, we wouldn't have become horror fans if it wasn't for stuff like Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark and, you know, Beetlejuice, stuff like that. And I think and Gremlins, I think those kind of films are very important because it piques curiosity, you know, especially when kids grow older, they're going to say, you know, hey, I want to watch something more mature when they start getting like preteens and stuff like that. And that's where PG-13 horror comes in. And I think that, yeah, like, again, I know I get a little aggravated sometimes because like Flashback Cinema, who partners with kind of local and regional theater chains,
Right.
They just announced their list this year, and I'm not too happy because it's like like last year they had like Psycho, Shining, The Lost Boys, The Exorcist. This year it's like, this year it's like Casper, Corpse Bride, Phantom of the Opera, and like the only, like, I would say like true horror film they have this year is how the original Halloween, which they're showing at the end of the month. So
nice.
but again, it's one of those, like, I get aggravated with stuff like that, but like where like they'll place that instead of like actual horror. But again, it's one of those, you got to get kids interested in the genre somehow. Not everyone can start off, nor should they start off, especially kids should start off with like Terrifier.
Yeah, don't just jump into The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Although I know a lot of our listeners have been like, yeah, my mom showed me The Exorcist when I was 8. And you're like, that is insane. And they're like, I love horror. And you're like, yeah, it's my guy.
Yeah. So like with me, like I got into horror because of stuff like Scooby-Doo and Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps. So I still think like stuff like Monster House and Casper and stuff like that has its place in horror because it helps create a new generation of horror fans.
100%. Like that's what I liked Casper as a kid. I really liked Casper.
I did too.
That was fun. But like, give Paranorman a chance. It's a fun zombie movie for kids, and the claymation is just like, oh, I love claymation. I think it's such an incredible art form, and Paranorman's pretty peak. I was get sidetracked on claymation for a whole episode, but I'm gonna throw this one out. I love the 1988 Blob remake. This is one of my favorite. Chuck Russell directed. Shawnee Smith, Kevin Dillon, just great. And it's some of the best practical effects ever put to film. The miniature work, the creature, the puppets, the blob itself are all fantastic. It's super gory. It does not give a fuck. It's killing kids. It's killing everybody. Nobody's safe.
And showing it too.
Yeah, gruesome.
This is another one I have on Blu-ray. I didn't pull it out. But yeah, this one's really good. I think the kid's death in the sewers, where he gets dragged under the sewer water and he comes out and he's just decayed, is like one of the nastiest moments. I really love this movie. Like you said, the practical effects, the creature design's awesome. It's gory as hell. Has a great story. One of those, maybe better than the original, maybe.
Yeah. This and The Thing are back-to-back bangers that are, I think, better than the original material that they're based off of. The original's a classic because you got Steve McQueen in it. It's a classic drive-in movie. It's great. But Blob, it just stood on those shoulders and it did what a sequel's supposed to do. It says, let's take it to the next level. And man, it delivers. I love The Blob from 1988.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Honestly, it's one of those, like, I haven't watched the original one in like probably well over 2 decades, just because like my mind goes straight to the 1988 one, just because it's just so quintessential. Like you said, great cast, great kills, solid story. Definitely love this one.
Heck yeah. Hit me with another.
I'm gonna do another curveball, and you know what? Not technically, kind of. Well, it is a horror film. Not really Halloween themed, which we're not doing Halloween themed. You know, we're just talking about things we just got to watch in October. So
Yes.
it just counts. And it's one of those, like, I feel like it's a very underrated slasher. 1989's Intruder.
Yes. Pretty hard to get until recently.
Yeah, I have this one. I think, what was it? I think I just saw it like probably back in early 2022, and it was just one of those. I was scrolling on Shudder, and just like, oh, okay, horror film slasher set in a grocery store, and me and my partner watched it. We fucking loved it. I went in and bought the Blu-ray for it, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like you said, it was hard to get or hard to watch until recently, and I'm glad now it's widely available, especially if you look up some of the early prints of like the VHS, where it's like they have Bruce Campbell like top build, even though he's only in like the last minute and a half of
barely in the movie. So it's like somehow Sam Raimi's tied to this. Is he produced it?
Both the Raimi brothers have small roles in it.
That's right. It's K&B's first movie. K&B Effects, of course, Greg Nicotero is the N in K&B, Howard Berger, Greg Nicotero, who does Walking Dead, which I work on. This was their first project as a company, and the gore in it is top notch. Like, a guy gets
his awesome
head cut in half with a bandsaw. It's super gross.
Yeah, it's like, again, you have to look for the director's cut, because I think that it was one of those that was really neutered by the MPAA at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, the gore is incredible, especially I forget which Raimi brother is it. One of them gets a meat cleaver to the head while he's wearing headphones, and it's just, you just see the headphones just go bloop. It's awesome.
Really good gags, really gory, very, very fun movie.
Yeah, and it's one of those, it's all set in a singular grocery store after closing, so you kind of get that claustrophobic feel. Anyone who's ever worked a job that's had to stay a little bit after closing time to kind of help restock or close up the store gets a little eerie. I think everyone can agree with that. So yeah, it kind of adds to that. Yeah, one of my favorite films. And I will talk about it any chance I can get. If any chance it's appropriate to bring up, I'm going to bring it up.
Dang, we should. Yeah, more people need to see that. That is definitely kind of a hidden gem that does not get enough love, does not get enough attention. It's easy to fall through the cracks because, like you said, it didn't have a big release. It doesn't have a lot of big stars, but it's people who love horror movies making their own horror movie, and that is always awesome.
And it's on Tubi for anyone who wants to stream it. It's on Tubi.
Woo! Tubi coming through.
They are coming through. But yeah, it's one of those, when anyone asks me like a film they should watch or check out, like, if I know they're into slashers, I'm going to bring this one up. And just about everyone who I've suggested it to said they really enjoyed it. Like, again, it's a fun, campy, cheesy 80s low budget slasher. It's kind of got everything. If you love campy, cheesy, low budget 80s slasher, it's got everything you love just mashed into this film. Mashed into a grocery store.
all in one location too, which is great. It's super well done. Yeah, it's super.
And
fun.
I have a Chris Butler print right here of it, right behind me.
That's so cool. Oh yeah, Intruder. Man, good picks tonight, man. You are throwing curveballs, and I am catching every one. I love it. Okay. Like, now I'm like, man, I've just been going with all these classics because I love the classics of Halloween. Like I said, Halloween is my comfort food. Halloween is my holiday where I just feel so. It's just a celebration of all the creepy shit that I like, and I love that it's become more mainstream. Haunted houses, Halloween Horror Nights, all that fun stuff.
Spirit Halloween opening up in the summer.
Yes.
Like, back when I was younger, like in high school and like late teens, early 20s, like, it was known Spirit Halloween don't open till like end of August. Now it's opening up like end of July. Like, it's so great to see how it's becoming more mainstream and more popular now.
Here's my curveball. This is a movie called
Ooh.
Deadly Spawn. Have you seen Deadly Spawn? It is
This?
Deadly Spawn. So Deadly Spawn it's an alien worm movie that is the inspiration for Slither. And it is like a rainy afternoon. It's super low budget, but it is like film school 101 as far as like when you watch it, you go, man, they did so much with so little. It's creepy alien worms sneak into this house, and then they have teeth and they chomp and eat anybody alive, and then they start getting bigger and bigger and bigger and growing into the Deadly Spawn. It is gory. It's got gross out like slime and lots of good kills. And it's one of my favorites when it comes to like hidden gem, low budge, but like does so much with it. The acting's terrible, but at the same time, you're just like, whatever. The little kid in it is like a monster kid, so he's like making masks and doing gags, kind of like the Tom Savini kid in Friday the 13th Part 4 or 5. 4. I love it, and it's got, like I said, little slithering alien worms with teeth, and they're biting everybody. It's great.
This is my first time actually hearing of this. It's on Shudder, so I know what I'm picking. I think my night's tomorrow to pick between me and my partner when we switch things up. So yeah, I know what I'm picking for our movies.
It's pretty fantastic. You absolutely have to check it out. I cannot recommend this movie enough. I think it is one of the best low budge alien movies to be done. And like, it's super low budge, but it's shot on film, and it's just cool. I just love it when people, fund their own movies and make their own movies. And this does so much with so little. And, the monsters are ridiculous looking. It's a giant foam worm monster with teeth. Come on.
It looks awesome to me from what I've seen in the letterbox image.
The posters are sick
when I watch this.
The posters are sick for it. Yeah, look up Deadly Spawn. This is one that I watch a lot, just because of how weird and gory it is. So I'm just like, yeah. So that'll be my curveball.
So I got another one.
All right.
Not necessarily a curveball. The Strangers, but not the first one. My favorite out of actually all of them, Prey at Night, the second one.
Really? So this is your favorite one?
This is my favorite. I mean, I do love the original Strangers. Mm-hmm. It's a nice slow burn house invasion film. But this one is basically like if you take the original and give it crack. It is amazing. It's where, like I said, where this one's more a slow pace, slow burn home invasion. This is a tribute to 80s slashers. Of course, it has like an amazing soundtrack of 80s pop songs. It's very fast paced. It doesn't take itself seriously. There's a lot of moments where it's kind of making fun of like different tropes in horror, like the killer coming back when you think they're dead. Like there's the moment with the car fire where you think it's over and then the car starts driving. It's hilarious. But yeah, I really love this one. This is one that we watch every year just because it's so much fun. It's so campy, and I really love it. And a good story too.
Did a new one just come out, or is one about to come out?
Just came out last week, which I saw. You know what? Here's the thing. It got trashed by critics.
Okay.
Me and my partner went last Sunday morning to go see it. We didn't think it was that bad. We actually thought it was pretty good. I mean, yeah, it's fun. It's basically just an hour and a half long chase scene. I thought it was good. I mean, I know they're doing the whole trilogy thing, which chapter 1 came out last year. That got trashed by critics. I saw it in theaters. When I saw it in theaters, I was like, oh, it's not as bad as people said it was. But then when I rewatched it, it kind of ages like milk. But this one we watched, and yeah, we actually enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. It's like half the film's kind of Halloween 2, the original one inspired, where it takes place all in a hospital, kind of a cat and mouse game in a hospital.
Love it.
And yeah, just go in, turn your brain off, and enjoy an hour and a half long chase scene.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I actually kind of want to see what direction they go with the next one, which is rumored to come out early next year.
That's good. When it comes to franchises, so many horror movies have at least two. I always have to pick, sometimes more than one, but I always pick from the big franchise. I always watch a Friday the 13th movie, and I always watch a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and usually doesn't matter which one. It'll span the gamut of what mood I'm in. If I want the soundtrack, I'm going for Friday the 13th Part 6. The Man Behind the Mask. If Freddy, get the Dream Warriors going. It's hard to go wrong with any of those when it comes to Halloween time. What is your let's start with like Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees. What is your go-to when you're like, I'm in the mood for one of those? Do you have one that you're like, that's the one that I go for?
Well, you typically Part 6, Jason Lives. That's my favorite one. But if I'm feeling a little bit odd that night, like, you know what, I want a Jason film, but I want something a little bit zestier, I go with Part 5. I'm a Part 5 truther. I like Part 5. I think it's a lot of fun.
Roy Burns grows on me every time because I think it is the one. It's the most serious of the movies, next to like the remake, maybe, which the remake was not having any fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the most serious of the movies, and I think the kills are really solid. It wasn't completely neutered yet. Friday the 13th, Jason Lives it's having a lot of fun, and I like that. It is quite a bit sillier though,
Yeah. And again, like Part 5, I like it because it feels so different compared to all of them, like tonally, visually, like even the setting is all different. Heck, even the mask, again, we know it's not Jason, it's Roy, and the mask is so different. It's just one of those, it's just a completely different, everything about it is just so different compared to the other films. And Part 6 is basically everything you love about the franchise, just sillier, more fun, more campy. It doesn't take itself seriously. And I think it's honestly just the best out of all. It's just kind of the best of all the worlds. You get Tommy at his best, Jason at his best, has some of the best kills. And yeah, I actually do really like the remake because again, it's more serious. You get more of a scarier, I would say more of like a mountain huntsman, kind of a survivalist Jason, and a woodsman, which I really like that Jason. I think that Jason's really cool.
I agree. I'm surprised that the remake gets so much hate because it's not the worst in the franchise. It delivers on what you want in one of these movies. A guy in a hockey mask killing teenagers. I think it suffers that the teenagers aren't very likable.
Yeah.
But I'm here for it.
I've seen more love for it in the last few years.
Good.
It's one of those, especially around that time it came out. We did a whole episode a few months ago, the 2000s remake era. It's on our YouTube if you want to go back and watch it. We had Chris.
Nice plug.
Yeah, we talk. Yeah, it's I had a lot of fun doing that episode. If we talked about it, and again, it's one of those. A lot of these remakes around that era were trashed by critics, but a lot of them are starting to find their audience or have found their audience. Again, we mentioned Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's people out there, including I know you, who prefer the remake more than they do the original. There's a lot of people that now love the Friday the 13th remake. There's a lot of people that love the House of Wax remake. The only one, I think, one of the few that hasn't found its audience is the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, which I think that's kind of deserved because it's a pretty bad film.
Yes. So disappointing. What a bummer that one was. Speaking of Nightmare on Elm Street, my favorite I don't know. I think you have also mentioned that you like this one quite a bit. It's Dream Warriors. That's
Yeah.
my favorite of the franchise. But like, the more I watch them, the more I get into. I mean, part one is just a bona fide classic, but like 2 and 4 are starting to get more love from me. Like Dream Master and even Dream Child a little bit. They have moments that you're like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then they do something real stupid, or Freddy says the dumbest thing. But like for the, but like even like Dream Master, until you get to the Invisible Freddy, pretty solid, like really solid movie, and doing some really cool stuff. It makes no sense because they're like, we're gonna kill all the characters that you like and get some new kids in here, and you're like, why? Why are you doing that? What happened? What'd they do to you, movie? But I love the kills in it. I love how creative they are with it. The ending when Freddy gets ripped apart by all the hands, that's freaking cool.
Yeah, I think part 5 has its moments, or part 4 has its moments. Yeah, I like Dream Warriors. That's my favorite one. It's actually funny. I just saw Wednesday night the original in theaters for the very first time. AMC released it. They're doing several re-releases throughout this month, and that was the
Nice.
first one they did. And yeah, it was incredible to see it in theaters. I got home and we watched part 2, which I know is kind of starting to get a little love, but I love part 2. I
do
think
too.
it's silly. Yeah, I think Freddy's scary in it. Mark Patton is great as the final boy, and yeah, I think it's as its own thing. It's really good. But yeah, Dream Warriors to me is kind of like the best one because it mashes up like everything you love about Freddy, mixes some fantasy elements to it.
Mm-hmm.
It has the best written characters, and yeah, I think Dream Warriors is honestly like when people ask me, oh, Nightmare on Elm Street, like to me, the quintessential one, the first one I think of when you mention Nightmare on Elm Street is Dream Warriors.
I really like doing the Nancy trilogy, where you watch the first one, the third one, and New Nightmare, and it creates
love
a
New
really nice
Nightmare.
trilogy. Yeah, New Nightmare's really cool.
New Nightmare is great as its own thing too. A lot of people consider this the precursor to Scream because it was Wes Craven's, I think, last film before he did Scream.
He was like, I'm retiring. He basically was like, I'm done. And then he was like, you know what, I'll do one more. And then he popped out Scream, which is like, holy cow.
Yeah, and I think New Nightmare, you get a great performance from Heather Langenkamp. You get a great performance from, which technically it's not Freddy. It's like isn't it like a demon mimicking Freddy? But that's Freddy.
It is. It's a demon who's latched on to the idea of Freddy. But yeah, it's good stuff, man. I ran into Heather Langenkamp at the Silver Screen Festival. She was really, really nice. Yeah.
That's awesome.
She just was walking past. And I was like, hey, I got to say, I think you're awesome. And she's like, oh, thanks. And she stopped and talked to me for like a couple of seconds. So I was like,
awesome.
I didn't even mean to stop her, but she just like, oh, hey. And like took the time. She didn't have to do that. That's awesome. Yeah, I love the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Part 2, I will say this. I think it's the scariest Freddy. He looks really scary. It's before he's really telling jokes. And I think one of the things that it suffers from is it didn't know the rules yet. The first movie, it's like he kills you in your dreams. Okay. The second movie,
I don't even think it was supposed to. There wasn't supposed to be a sequel. I think Wes Craven just wanted a one and done.
Exactly, but they were like, "You got to make more." So like,
which he didn't even have any issue. I think he actually completely dropped off of part 2. He didn't come back till part 3, which he only wrote.
Yeah. So it's like, who is it? Mick Garris who directed it? Part 3, Chuck Russell. Yeah, Chuck Russell directed part 3. So part 2 has some like really great scares in it. The part where it's like, oh, you don't know the rules. I actually love the idea of Freddy trying to convince somebody else to kill for him. That's a really cool idea. It's very Candyman. Be my victim. It's like, whoa. Yeah. But then he comes out at the pool party, and you're like, wait, what are the rules here? And they're like, we don't know. And you're like, okay. I mean, it's cool, but like, it's one of those things where you're like, it's cool. And then you go, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense. If he's turning into Freddy, like literally, wait a second. I have so many questions now. And they're like, shh, movie's almost over. And
you're just like, watch the movie.
Yeah, exactly. But I really like I really like the idea of Freddy as a possession, and I think there's something there. They just didn't know how to like land the plane with that idea, and it starts out really strong, and I think it ends strong too. It just doesn't fit in the franchise when you're like, well, what are the rules of Freddy? And they're like, we didn't figure it out. We just made it up as we went along.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of gained a cult following, especially among the queer community.
Hell yeah.
Which, of course, I know like there is a lot of gay undertones and homoeroticism in it, which I think is kind of I think that's why a lot of, especially, it wasn't well received at the time it came out, but it's kind of become embraced by the queer community because of its kind of homoeroticism and queer undertones to it.
Which I think also, like, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it was a little weird. But then as you grow older and you go through your own like journey of acceptance and broadening your mind and start enjoying camp and start enjoying movies like that, it's like, this movie's fun and it's having a great time. And like you said, Mark Patton crushes it as a Scream King. So I'm here for it.
If anyone wants to know, like, wants to watch like a great documentary about it,
yes,
there's one called Scream Queen: My Nightmare on Elm Street, which it's following Mark Patton and kind of his journey to acceptance of the film, and it is phenomenal. And I think it's like one of those any Freddy film fan should watch. And it might, if you don't really care for part 2, it might give you a new appreciation for it.
It is really interesting. He went through hell after that movie because people gave him a lot of shit, and it's him kind of getting to reclaim that and be like, hey, I was just a kid who made a movie and you guys gave me a lot of shit. But now I appreciate the fans and I appreciate where it was. And he actually confronts the director for being like, I think you put me in an unfair position to put me in this movie and not really be forthcoming on the themes and everything, even though, because anytime you have a young actor, they might not be fully aware of how they're being portrayed on screen, and I think that's a valid complaint. It's a really good doc, like you said.
Yeah, it's one of those, like I said, if you're a Freddy fan and don't really care too much for part 2, it might give you a new appreciation. Now, go into franchises.
Mm-hmm.
When, other than the original, because I know everyone's going to mention the original. When you think Halloween, again, we just talked about Halloween 3, but the Michael Myers films, the ones with Michael Myers, which one would say, other than the original, would be like, that's your go-to?
Oh, see, this is interesting because for me, I am not deep in that franchise. I like the first one quite a bit. I love the third one. But after that, like, my favorite one is of the original franchise is probably part 2, just because I like the hospital setting, I like the bleeding eyes, I like when he's on fire, and I like some of the kills. But I am a big Halloween Kills fan, and I get a lot of shit for that because people are like, oh, that's just when he turned into Jason Voorhees. And I was like, I know. That's why I liked it.
Yeah. I actually like Halloween Kills a lot too. I think it's just a showcase for Michael's brutality. I think, it's one of those, it suffers from being the middle part of a trilogy.
Yep.
This trilogy, goddamn, it's so divisive because, the Halloween 2018 came out and it was just, people were like, oh, we're back. Then Halloween Kills came out. People were very mixed on it. Like you said, there are some people like, that were like, it's a fun showcase for show Michael as a killer, and then people are like you said, complain it's just Michael becoming Jason. Then Halloween Ends, still one of the most debated films in the horror circle.
I know very few people who can effectively defend their whatever they like about it. There's a lot of people who are like, I like to argue, so this is one I like. I don't know. I think you could have salvaged that movie with some different editing. I think if you had the Michael Myers part first and then had the new character sort of take over, there's something there that you could have done with that. But you show up for a Michael Myers movie and you wait the whole time for Michael Myers to show up and he doesn't, a lot of people are going to be pissed off by the time he does.
Yeah, and it's one of those, like, I've heard people say I like it because it's something different, which they did do something completely different.
Yep.
I mean, Michael Myers kind of takes a back seat in that one, and they introduce a new villain, which, I mean, I do respect, but I do somewhat agree with you where they could have done the Michael thing first, maybe killed him off early, and then introduced Corey as like the new villain, you know, to show that
Yeah.
spirit of evil still lives. Now, for me, one of my favorite, of course, I do love 3. I love the original. One of my favorite things I like to do is watch the original and do the second one as a double feature. But for me, one I really enjoy, I like to watch by itself, is Halloween 4. It's kind of goes back to basics, you know, simple Michael stalking somebody, and has some great kills. Great. I think it's probably one of the stronger ones. I do love Halloween H2O. I know this isn't very liked among younger fans, but it's a Scream movie with the Michael Myers sticker slapped on it. I think it's fun.
Is part 4, is that when Danny Harris shows up?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, she's fantastic. That one is really great.
And then one, God, we could do a whole podcast episode on that just because of the production troubles, all the video essays about the production on this film, the 2 different cuts, Curse of Michael Myers, which as a movie, it's fine. It's okay. But
Barry rules. Yeah.
it's as a film, it's fine. I think one of my things I do like, why I do like watching this one, to me, it's the one that nails the fall Halloween aesthetic the best. Like, you actually feel like it's fall when you watch it.
It also nails the Paul Rudd is timeless perfectly. I love Paul Rudd in that movie. It's great to see him. Just crazy that franchise has lasted so long, and I'm glad. I'm really glad that it has, because you know, it's the OG, it's the original. I like to dive into Hellraiser and Halloween. The first one especially, like I love to pop in the first one and watch me some Clive Barker awesomeness. I met Ashley Lawrence at Scream, at Silver Scream, because
I'm so jealous.
Not only did I get to meet her, some of the people that I was with, that I work with, she's like friends with them. So she came and like hung out with us, and she is really cool. She was talking about her paintings, and like she showed me some of her paintings, and she does these like huge, grotesque, like sort of horror paintings, really cool shading and people in like twisted poses. I was like, that's awesome. She really is a talented painter, which I didn't know.
Wow, that is awesome. And again, it's one of those, like with Hellraiser, again, we did a whole Hellraiser episode. I love especially the first 3. I have the Arrow Video Quartet of Torment box set, which has the first 4. Of course, Ashley Lawrence is in the first 2, and I think she's even she's in one of the direct-to-video ones in a small role.
Just briefly, yeah.
But yeah, I think she's phenomenal as Kirsty Cotton. I think she's a great final girl. One of my favorite things to do when I do watch Hellraiser is I like doing a double feature of the first 2 back to back, just because if you watch it, it's literally one continuous story, and it's so fun to do that. And it's just fun to see really how it is like one continuous story, but it's also somewhat different in tone, where the first one is more of your erotic body horror, where the second one still has the erotic body horror elements to it, but it adds some fantasy elements to it, especially when you with the Leviathan and the Hell World and everything. It's just I love it so much.
So good. And then of course, is it Claire Higgins? Is that who
Yes,
plays the mother? She's amazing.
She's fantastic. I think her performance is even better in the second one because she's somewhat kind of the film's secondary lead villain. Of course, the doctor is kind of becomes the main villain of the second one, but up until like when he turns into the Dr. Cenobite, she's kind of the lead villain for most of that film, and she's phenomenal.
Talk about a franchise that never figured out its own rules. That is a franchise, and we've talked about this franchise, but it's like there's one that never quite, especially after Clive Barker kind of stepped away from the franchise, and it's just like, I don't know, we want CD Cenobite, you want a camera in the head Cenobite, and you're like, what are you doing, Hellraiser movie? And they're like, well, I took this thing that I found, I jammed it in his head. Now he's a Cenobite. And you're like, I don't know if that's how it works. And they're like, I don't know. I mean, he's got pins in his head. I'm like, yeah, but that has like, there's like some pain and there's like BDSM subtext there and psychosexual weirdness. And they're like, do you want headphones, Cenobite? I got headphones, Cenobite. And you're like, no, I don't want that.
You want a bartender Cenobite?
Yeah, he burps fire, and you're like, I don't think you understand how Cenobites work. And they're like, oh, and then they're like, in the next one, he's a statue, and you're like, that's what? But I do love Statue Pinhead when he's the statue that drinks blood. Like, it's great.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, and I think honestly, kind of the remake that came out in 2022.
Awesome.
Brought things back to where they should be. And yeah, I want to see more of what they do with that. You know, I know there's been talks of they're developing a sequel to that. And I thought Jamie Clayton, which by the way, I saw the TikTok comments on our Hellraiser video we had on TikTok. Yes, you motherfuckers. I know technically his name's not Pinhead. I know it's technically the Hell Priest, but we call him Pinhead anyway. So get over it.
Yeah. The Hell Priest. Yeah, it's Pinhead. I thought Jamie Clayton killed it. I thought their representation of the Cenobites was awesome. My only complaint of that movie is I think the main characters that we're supposed to care about weren't very strong. Not
I would say
terrible.
Exception of Riley. I thought Odessa Zion as Riley killed it. I thought she was phenomenal. She's in that horror film Until Dawn that just came out earlier this year, the video game one. I hated the movie, but she was the best part of the film. And she's getting ready to star in an A24 film with Timothée Chalamet coming out later this year, which I can't wait to see her in that. Good for her. Give her more work. She's amazing.
Until Dawn was an amazing video game. It is impossible to turn that into a movie. The whole game is about multiple choice and multiple endings, and it's a choose your own adventure. How are you making that into a movie that makes any sense? And they didn't. They just kind of like loosely adapted one of the paths that you could take. It hinted at the idea of like, branching ideas, but like that game was cool because you got to choose the bad things that happened, and it was interesting and it was weird. Much like The Quarry, same deal, and I like that. But yeah, it's she was the best part of that movie for sure. I loved its allegory for addiction. Very interesting. I hope we get to see more Hellraisers because that is a franchise. It's one of the best characters. Like even in the bad ones, if Doug Bradley's there,
he's the best part of it.
Yeah, Pinhead's cool. I honestly think the one in space, Bloodlines, is kind of cool. It's not good, but it's kind of cool. And the way they justify it in space isn't the worst idea.
No. And I like how it goes across 3 different generations. I think that's kind of cool.
All right, let's pick our last ones. What's your last one to throw up? Yeah, what do you got?
I think we kind of teased y'all early in the episode. We made y'all wait for this one. I think it's the one everyone's expecting us to talk about. Save the best for last. Got to keep you guys on your toes. Trick or treat. Which actually I have a Sam animatronic right there.
Oh, he's big. I was looking for like a little tiny guy. Oh, he's so big. That's terrifying. Oh, I love little Sam. Little Sam's so good.
Yeah, we all love Sam, but yeah, this one, it's one of those that got released straight to video back in, I think, 2009 after multiple delays. But over time, it has just gained this following and gained like more and more fans each year. And like
Yeah.
for the last few years, Spirit Halloween has just been covered in stuff for Trick or Treat, where you could buy anything you want Trick or Treat. You want a Sam outfit? There you go. You want his lollipop dagger? There you go. You want the candy bar razor thingy he had? There you go. I think it's so great to see how this film has really blown up when it was kind of just really talked about under for the longest time, a small group of kind of horror fans. And now it's just this big thing. And I love to see it.
For a single film, not a franchise, a single film from 2009 to be this popular says so much. Sam is an iconic Halloween character, and it's amazing that for a movie that only came out once, and it's an anthology on top of that. Sam just is there a little bit. He's not even really like he's a thread throughout, but he's not really like a big character.
He's kind of like the creep from Creepshow. Just kind of appears to kind of get this transition to the next story.
And that works, but it's just, it blows my mind it doesn't blow my mind. It's a great movie, but it blows my mind that after all this time that character's longevity has outshone a lot of other major swings at trying to make the next, horror icon. But Sam, just his look, the bag head, the lollipop, just great. And the segments in this movie are fantastic. It has like the vampire werewolf one, love it.
There's not
so good.
Here's the thing with a lot of anthology films. There's a lot, like with a lot of these horror anthologies, even Creepshow. I love Creepshow 1 and 2. Let's not talk about the third one. I love Creepshow 1 and 2. And even the series, like that was on Shudder for the longest time. Like, I love those movies and I love the shows, but there's always like a weak segment, with all of those films. Trick or Treat, there's no weak segment. Each one is phenomenal, very memorable. Well acted. Of course, you have Dylan Baker, Leslie Bibb, Anna Paquin, Brian Cox, who has kind of, with Succession, kind of had this like huge late career resurgence.
Right. See, I remember Brian Cox from Super Troopers, and even earlier when he played the original Hannibal Lecter in
Manhunter.
Yeah. He's always been great, but to see him in this, it's always like, whoa. This is a good one. It is a quintessential Halloween time. Throw it on, and you're there. You're ready for Halloween. It gets you so amped for the holiday, and I love it.
And if you're able to, and if your theater's showing it, Fathom Events is releasing it in theaters, which I'm happy to see now that it's finally getting theatrical releases when it was put straight to video, just because they didn't know what to do with it.
Right. It's hard to pull off a good anthology, and they crushed it. I'm surprised we haven't seen any more. I'm kind of glad, because it's like, can you imagine if they pumped another one out and it was sucky? But it's like, you got to nail it now. It's 2009 is a long time ago, so you have to come back and nail it. It's like if they had done a bunch of them back to back to back, that could have been a lot harder. There have been some comic books in the Trick or Treat world. I haven't read them yet, but
I haven't either.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, so it's one of those, like, as much as people want a sequel, I say, let's just enjoy this one, because there's sometimes, where we've gotten a long way to sequels and it just doesn't live up to it. So
if they came back, would you want it to be another anthology, or do you want to see just a Sam movie that's like him as a slasher, or like the origin story of this little pumpkinhead boy?
Here's the thing with a lot of slashers and characters like that. I think sometimes leaving it a mystery is the best.
Bingo.
I kind of like having a mystery to it. That's one of the issues I have, somewhat spoiler alert, to the new Strangers film that just came out. They're starting to give some of the killers a backstory. And I think that to me, that's the weakest part of that is that, I think what made The Stranger so scary was that they were mysterious. You didn't know why they were doing it. You didn't know who they were. And I think, with Sam, if they decide to do another one, do another anthology, have it where Sam's kind of the segue to that, and maybe he gets his story as a killer at the end, just like the first one. Yeah, just kind of leave it alone, because I think sometimes the mystery scarier. Not knowing who they are scarier. And I think kind of giving them a backstory kind of hurts it.
You never want to find out where your villains come from. It's kind of something I stick by. There are exceptions, sure.
Yeah.
But if we find out where the Pumpkinhead kid came from, it takes away all the mystery of kind of why he's so creepy and cool in the first place. So I want more. I want to see what they do. But yeah, I don't think explaining too much would be the move.
No, I absolutely agree. Leave some mystery, Leave some things to the imagination.
Yeah. So, guys, I apologize. It's been a pre-record this week. I'm traveling and working and just trying to get an episode out regardless. I hope you guys are discussing what movies you like to watch to get your Halloween kick started into high gear. Are any of you doing Hooptober, where you watch 31 movies back to back to back to back? There's a bunch of awesome horror movies that I would have never thought that you were going to bring out Monster House. So that was just like, hell yeah. I might end up watching that this year just for funsies. I love the curveballs. I love to find out. I know a lot of people who it's like their go-tos are like the ones you watched as a kid, like at the Olsen twins Halloween or like Hocus Pocus. And you're like, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Because Halloween has a comfort food vibe to it. It is something that feeds your soul. And even though we keep it going year round, and I'm watching horror movies all the time, I live Halloween every day. It's something about when it starts to get cold and you're just like, yeah, it's time. It's time for the giveaway. Speaking of giveaway, let's give away some blood coin. I'm going to keep it simple. It's just going to be October, because we're kicking it off. This is the first episode of October. But in October, you know what it means. Blocktoberfest is coming. The Block of Horror is going to be kicking off there. We're going to have announcements coming up probably in the next week or so about the Red Tower events, the Blocktoberfest Film Festival, the Atari Game Jam, which is happening right now, and all the stuff that's going down in the block. Very exciting, very awesome things. So yeah, keep it tuned here. Keep it tuned on all things social media, Block of Horror. If you go to the Discord, you open up keyword, you type in the word October, you'll get some awesome blood coin. And hope to see you guys at Blocktoberfest this year for the film festival, watching all these films, watching all the super cool, talented stuff that we got going on. And it's always been fun, but we're going to keep that going. Chase, plugs, what do you got going on?
Yeah, first of all, as usual, my socials, Letterboxd, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, TikTok at Oh Hey It's Chase. All things Block of, see me here every Saturday with you, Aaron, on Half Hour Horror. And of course, like you mentioned, everything Block of Horror, everything, Discord, Instagram, the virtual world, join the Atari games, create your games. This is my second as a member, kind of the Block of Horror family. This is my second Blocktoberfest. Because I joined in as a host spring 2024. So this is my second one. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, especially check out whenever the Blocktoberfest Short Film Festival. We had a lot of fun with that last year. So yeah,
good movies too. Yeah, really good ones.
Oh, really good. It's funny. A buddy of mine sent me a link the other day of a list of short films to watch for the month of October, and Portrait of God, which we showed, was on that list, and I was like, "Oh shit, I've seen that one."
Portrait of God, Meat Cleaver. I mean, there were just so many really good ones that stick out in my head. It's just like, man, these were so fun. Yeah, guys. like I said, keep it tuned here to find out more. You can follow me. I'm basically just on Instagram now anymore, McLean and Abel. I go to Pinterest. Nobody has opinions on there. But I still get the dopamine hit of like looking at pictures. But we're gonna be watching some horror movies. I'm out in Boston making a TV show. We're having some fun in the Walking Dead universe. It's a great season so far, but I'm doing late nights. So yeah, we're gonna figure it out, but it's gonna be super cool. So until next time, guys, this has been so much fun. We'll see you soon. Have fun. Watch some horror movies. Stay safe.